Merchant Navy is celebrated annually on the 3rd of September to celebrate the vital role of the Merchant Navy in global trade and national security, and commemorate the selfless service and bravery of merchant mariners who have been crucial in transporting essential goods across the world's oceans. Merchant Navy has played a significant role during the 1982 conflict, as merchant ships, including cargo vessels, tankers and cruise liners, were requisitioned to support the operation. They were quickly transformed into everything from supply ships and troop carriers to floating hospitals, and their crews suddenly found themselves part of a major military operation. One of those requisition ships was the Atlantic Conveyor. This British Merchant Navy ship was used to carry supplies for the Royal Navy Task Force, such as Vesek helicopters, Sea Harriers, RAF Chinook, and much more essential military equipment. On the 25th of May 1982, Atlantic Conveyor was hit by two missiles fired by two Argentine Navy Super-Intended jet fighters. 12 men died in the sinking of Atlantic Conveyor. 6 of them were from the Merchant Navy, 3 from the Royal Fleet Auxiliary, and 3 sailors from the Royal Navy. The ship was the first British merchant vessel lost at sea to enemy fire since World War II. Merchant Navy Day is an opportunity to recognize the sacrifices made by these heroes, who often work in challenging environments and face the dangers of piracy, severe weather, and geopolitical tensions. Nowadays, merchant navies still play a vital role for the Falkland Islands.
In the Falkland Islands, we have the Falkland Islands Maritime Authority, which pretty much oversees on behalf of the Falkland Islands government the entire maritime industry. We work well with also private stakeholders, fishing companies, the merchant vessel companies, and any other water users, cruise ships included, and also local persons that use the Falkland Islands waters.
Specifically, we have 2 merchant vessels that serve the Falklands. That's the Unispirit, comes in from Uruguay, from Montevideo, about every 3 to 4 weeks, supplying the islands with containerized goods. We also have what they call the Falkland Islands replenishment ship, which comes direct from Southampton in the United Kingdom, and that goes into the East Cove military port, and that will bring down things like vehicles, plant vehicles, bigger items that can't be containerized. The island is very dependent upon the merchant vessels to bring in the goods. Some goods can come in by aircraft, but obviously they're limited on weight and facilities, whereas these 2 big merchant vessels are bringing, I would say, over 95% of what we actually need to survive on in the islands. The whole island's economy really does depend on the merchant navy to move goods in and out of the islands to be able to survive. We are heavily dependent on the fishing industry. They come in, they freeze their fish, and that fish has to go out again by the merchant navy through the Unispirit containerised off to the markets abroad. The merchant navy plays a vital part in our whole island's economy.
And if you had to look at it at a larger scale even, the whole global industry is 90% dependent on moving goods via sea. So 90% of the world's economy depends on it. So it's very crucial that it's there and it's well run.
It's very much a underappreciated service. People don't realise just how important the merchant navy is to the global economy generally, and specifically to this island. Merchant navy sailors are not really as appreciated, perhaps as well as they should be in the past. I hark back to 1982 when the military came down here to liberate these islands. We could not have done that without the merchant navy. There were probably more merchant navy vessels involved in that conflict than there were military vessels. And without them, greatly underappreciated effort was made by the merchant navy and continues to be made by the merchant navy, ensuring these islands' security.
And I think if more people understood what goes on in the merchant navy and the different opportunities that it provides, we'll be able to participate more into the merchant navy, and also have a culture that understands what seafarers go through when they are on these vessels, then communities could support seafarers more that way.
Merchant Navy has played a significant role in the Falklands for a long time, from supporting the operation in 1982 to shipping essential goods to the islands nowadays. So it is important to celebrate the Merchant Navy Day to foster a deeper appreciation of the maritime industry and the essential services provided by merchant mariners.